Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap. Sorry that my screens are off. I just realized that because I had been recording. For Friday, the 14th of February, 2025, also known as Valentine's Day, for some. For me, it was my final consecutive streaming day of the week, and it was a great one. In fact, quite frankly, it was a superb day. Although a lot of time was wasted, I still managed to complete everything that I wanted to complete. So let's talk about that right now, shall we? I think we should. So anyway, here's the deal. Here's how it went today on my content. First things first, on the podcast, I covered the Elden Ring Nightreign network test, which had happened between 3 and 6 p.m. and went horribly wrong. What I mean by that is no one could play it because the network test kept erroring and almost no one could touch the game. So it was a huge flop. So because of that, sadly, no one could really experience it or know if the game was good or not. So all the suspense was building for Friday night when I was going to try it. But I spent the majority of my podcast talking about my appearance last night on Steve Cambrian's podcast, where essentially the entire thing was a very lame trap where he was trying to get me to fess up to things, to try to get me to take a lie detector test. If you know what I'm talking about, great. If you don't, you probably don't care. It was just lame-o as shit, and I didn't fall for it, of course. But I did talk about it officially, and people wanted to talk about it. Okay. So if you're really interested in that, watch my podcast from today, which was extra, extra long. The podcast went 2.5 hours long because people kept contributing and talking to me about this situation and, basically being incredibly supportive, saying, oh, no, this is different from the side scroller situation. Because in the side scroller situation 2 years ago, I set myself up for failure. In this case, I never agreed to be on a interview and talk about any of this drama stuff. In fact, I read the exact intro that was given to me by Steve of what the interview was going to be, and literally only 15 minutes of the interview was that, and the rest was just him attacking me. Nonsense. So check it out. You'll enjoy the podcast. I think you will, anyway. Um, if you want to see what my take is and what everyone would had to say. And then after that, sadly, because the podcast went so long, I only had about 90 minutes left on my first stream to actually play Street Fighter 6 with Mai Shiranui and try to get her to master rank. But I did it anyway because it was great. I actually warmed up for about 45 minutes with Mai in casual, and I said, well, with only 45 minutes left, let's see what I can do. And I went on a tear, and I was kicking everyone's butt. And then I fought a master rank Cammy, and I beat them 2-1 in a set. And each win against a master player when you're in Diamond is 250 points. So I did it. I got myself to master rank. It went really well. And then on top of all of this, guess what I discovered? You'll never believe this. Street Fighter 6 enabled VSync on my PC without my permission and not telling me. I have had VSync off ever since I played this game on Street Fighter 6 because I know it adds input delay and it messes with the connections. I had it on 1080p, 120 hertz, 120 frames max. Of course, the game only runs at 60, but when you enable that, it reduces input delay. But I always had VSync off. The game turned it on and it was adding input delay. So I turned it off and immediately noticed the game was running better and the connections were better. Wasn't me. This is the same thing that has happened with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, where they do an update. And when they patch the game and do an update, your settings change. Well, Street Fighter 6 did it too. So all these weeks and stuff, playing with Mai, playing with Dalzim, playing with Honda, playing with Blanca, playing with Bison, I'm like, man, it feels like it's laggy. It was VSync the whole time. So we solved the problem, and I hit master with Mai, and support was so great on that first stream, we hit 2 goals. Pretty amazing. Okay, so we went from 11 up to 13. Then on the late stream, it was the Elden Ring Nightreign network test. And I'm very happy to report it worked all night, 2.5 hours of gameplay. I played the Guardian class for tonight, which is the tank class that has a shield and either spear or great, long great axe. And it actually looked like an eagle. And the special ability is awesome. You fly into the air and you do this diving attack on the enemies. At first, I didn't really understand it, but people started showing up during it and telling me, well, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. In a nutshell, think Fortnite combined with Elden Ring. That's literally the game. So you have to survive in this open world fighting enemies. As you fight the enemies, you earn runes or is it grace? Whatever it's called. I think they're called runes in Elden Ring, right? You use those runes to level up at bonfires, and that just automatically gives you more health, more FP, and more stamina. Okay. As you kill mini bosses that are in the world, you earn rare rewards, like maybe a better weapon, or maybe the ability to get like a special thing. Like I had one that had guardian swords hovering above me and attacking enemies periodically, which is cool. Um, Also, there's items in the environment you can use, like throwables, grease to put on your weapon, stuff like that. Um, and as you're doing this, a ring is coming in a la Fortnite that you have to stay within. And if you stay outside of it, it's going to burn you up. You're going to die. So it's kind of like Battle Royale combined with a roguelike because you have to survive for 3 nights. So basically, you're free to do whatever you want as long as you stay within the ring. So in these runs, I fought various different enemies of different kinds over the course of the game. Fought many, many bosses, including the lion, the Cardian Knight, the one that uses the magic, the Magic Knight, um, Cadian Knight, right? The Lone Warrior guy who's like one of the beast bosses, um, among many others. Like I fought like 5, 6, 7 mini bosses during the course of the night, and then at the end of each day, you get into one small ring for a final big boss fight. And some of the bosses I fought, Centipede Demon, the dual beast bosses, meaning the beast swordsman, but also the beast queen that uses the magic. 2v1 basically, but it's of course you're a team of 3, so it's 3v2. Then day 2, you just do it again. It resets, and you got to kill more enemies, fight more mini bosses, and then this day 2 bosses so far were one of the big guardian knights, one of the ones that rides the horse and has the lightning magic, but then 2 minor ones are with him, so it's 3v3 basically. And the fellow omen. Okay. And then finally, if you get past all that, you get to the final boss. And right now, it's a Cerberus that uses a giant sword, but then every once in a while splits into 3 separate Cerberuses and then forms back together. So it's pretty darn fun. At first, I was getting my ass handed to me because I didn't understand the mechanics. Then, as I started to learn how to revive my teammates, how to do attacks, how to dodge, how the mechanics of leveling worked, etc., it got better and better. Basically, I went from sucking to by the end of the night getting a really good team together, and we won. We actually beat the network test. So that was awesome. All right. People loved it. People were attended and supported. We hit the goal again on the late stream. And in addition to all of that, people were like, yeah, play it again on Sunday night. So when I play it on Sunday, instead of playing Guardian class, I'll play one of the others. Now, I'll say, seems like the Duchess class is the best offensive class. You're very fast and you have quick dagger hits that seem to build up like bleed and stuff. Really good stuff in that regard. So I really enjoyed myself, had a great time, hit all the goals. Everyone liked it. I'll be uploading the footage tonight and more coming on Sunday. Okay? Reminder, I'm off tomorrow. Next week will be a 5-day streaming week, not 6. It's going to be 5 because I'm actually going to spend a day with my wife at the end of the week. So Sunday, when I come back, will be a big return podcast talking about what I did on my day off and any gaming news or whatever that happened. Sunday's first stream will be more Onimusha Warlords, and the late stream will be the conclusion of the Elden Ring Nightreign network test. So I hope you'll join me for it. Okay? Everyone, thank you all for watching, for supporting. Enjoy the content. See you Sunday. Have a good night. Peace out.